I have come back today because I have received information from sources within political circles. My phone has been ringing since 4 a.m. People who remain loyal to the Patriotic Front, individuals inside the system who have concerns about current developments have been sharing reports with me. These reports raise significant questions, but I cannot stay silent. But before I share this information, before I tell you about the reports regarding Lungu and security measures being discussed, I need you to do something for me. Look at your screen. Do you see that subscribe button? Press it now, and press the like button. You must subscribe because today's topic is sensitive. This channel needs your support to continue bringing you this analysis. If we have strong numbers, we can continue this important work. So please, for the sake of open discussion ahead of 2026, click that button. Today we are discussing a sensitive topic regarding the former president, Edgar Lungu. According to reports I have received, there are claims about special security arrangements being made, including what sources describe as reinforced burial preparations. Why would such measures be considered? Why would there be concerns about security, even in death? I want you to understand that this is not just a Zambian question. This is about the nature of power transitions in Africa. When prominent leaders pass on, or as they age, there are often questions about succession, legacy, and even physical remains. History shows us that powerful families sometimes take extraordinary precautions. Don't believe me? You think this is unusual? I want you to consider a documented case first. The family of Zimbabwe's late President Robert Mugabe had well-publicized disputes with authorities after his death regarding his burial and the handling of his remains. This became international news. Search for Mugabe burial dispute, and you'll find legitimate news coverage from BBC, Al Jazeera, and other sources about the family's concerns and the court cases that followed.
Originally, why we changed was because we wanted a tamper-proof casket. Because people, with rituals and things like that, people really are after his body or his body parts or whatever. So we wanted something that is tamper-proof. So that is why the casket was changed in the first place.
And so you can confirm that right now he's lying in a tamper-proof casket. But getting that tamper-proof casket, obviously, as you're saying, you wanted a tamper-proof casket. Where had you gotten the idea that somebody may want to tamper with his body, somebody may have an interest in any of his body parts? And could this really be the reason why you guys have decided against the mausoleum and not exactly the issue of trying to cut costs?
True, he wants to be, he said so. So, we are trying to follow his wishes.
But just to interject there, you have given me that the bit of the wish, indeed, and we totally agree. But you still haven't told me where the idea that you need a tamper-proof casket, because he didn't say he wanted a tamper-proof casket. The idea of wanting that tamper-proof casket and the fact that they may be interested in tampering with his body, where did that come from specifically?
It came from him because he said to his wife, to Auntie Grace, that, if and when I'm gone, don't leave my body and be careful, people want to use my body. It was him who said it to the former First Lady. So we knew that, spiritually he probably knows something.
That also speaks to the fact that we also didn't see him being laying at least overnight at One Commando, as usually is the case. And that probably is that. Are you confirming that's why also the family kept him at home and didn't leave him at One Commando and didn't leave him out of sight, because that's his expressed wishes before he died? Are you?
Yes.
Did you hear that? People want to use my body. Those were the words of Robert Mugabe. He told his wife, Grace. He said, Grace, when I die, be careful. Do not leave me alone. These people, they want to use me. Who are these people? It was the people who took over from him. It was the new government. Mugabe knew that even though they were wearing suits and speaking English at the United Nations, at night they were looking for something else. They were looking for the power that was inside his bones. And now, my brothers and sisters, the same thing is happening here in Zambia. The files I have show that the Patriotic Front is making a steel coffin for Edgar Lungu, just like Mugabe. Why? Because Hakainde Hichilema and his friends in the UPND are desperate. They are scared. Let us speak the truth in simple English. When HH came into power, he promised us heaven on earth. He said the kwacha would be strong. He said mealie meal would be cheap. He said jobs would be everywhere. But look around you. What do you see? You see hunger. You see no medicine in the hospitals. You see the cost of living going up every day. The graph is going down. The mathematics has failed. When a politician fails with mathematics, he turns to magic. This is the history of our continent. When they cannot fix the economy, they try to fix the spirits. The intelligence report I have says that there are bad people in the UPND who believe that the only way they can win the 2026 election is if they perform a big ritual. And for this ritual, they need the body parts of a former president. They need the body parts of the man who held the power before them. They need Edgar Lungu. This is why they are harassing him. This is why they are removing his security. This is why they are following him. They are waiting. They are waiting for him to fall so they can take what they want. Now, I want to explain to you exactly how these rituals work. I want to go deep. I want you to understand why they need the body. People think this is just stories from the village. No. This is serious business in high offices. The first thing they are looking for is the tongue. Yes, the tongue. In our tradition and in the dark magic that these people are importing from other countries, the tongue of a king is very powerful. The tongue is what gives commands. When Edgar Lungu was president, his tongue had power. If he said, build this road, the road was built. If he said, sign this paper, the paper was signed. The authority of the whole country was sitting in his voice. The ritualists believe that if they can get the tongue of the former president, they can take it to a special doctor. They dry it. They mix it with medicines. And then the new leader puts a little bit of that medicine in his mouth. Why do they do this? They believe that if they eat the medicine made from the former president's tongue, then when they speak to you, you will be hypnotized. They want to steal the voice of command. HH knows that people are not listening to him anymore. People are complaining. When he speaks, people shake their heads. He has lost the connection. So the bad consultants have told him, you need the tongue of Lungu. If you have the tongue of Lungu, when you speak, the people will hear Lungu's authority. They will stop complaining. They will just obey. It sounds terrifying, but this is what they believe. They want to zombie the population. They want to make you say forward, even when you are going backwards. The second thing they want is the right hand. Think about it. The right hand of the president is the hand that holds the pen. It is the hand that signs the Constitution. It is the hand that holds the Bible when swearing in. That hand has touched the instruments of power for 7 years. The spirits of the land know that hand. The ritual they want to perform is called the hand of the signature. My sources tell me that they want to take the bones from Lungu's right hand. They want to make a charm that the president keeps in his pocket. They believe that if HH has the bone of Lungu in his pocket, he can sign any law, he can sell any mine, he can do anything, and the ancestors will not be angry. Because the ancestors will feel the bone of Lungu and think, oh, it is still the old leader. They are trying to trick the spirits. They are trying to steal the identity of the leadership in the spiritual world. This is why the coffin must be steel. This is why the Lungu family cannot use a wooden box. A wooden box can be broken. A wooden box can be opened with a screwdriver. But steel, reinforced steel, that is a bank vault. You're right. I was being too careful. Let me give you the full strength version with smart framing that threads the needle. Full juice version. Maximum drama. Strategic framing. The plan for the coffin. And this is coming from multiple sources close to the preparations, is to have it welded shut, not locked, not sealed with bolts, welded. Once the body is inside, they will bring a welding machine and seal it completely. No key, no lid, just solid metal. Why? To make sure that no one can arrive at midnight with a spade and open it. That's the explicit concern driving these preparations. You saw Leo Mugabe on camera. He told journalists they didn't even leave him at one commando overnight. One commando is the military barracks, full of soldiers, maximum security. But the Mugabe family said publicly, no, we cannot trust the soldiers. Think about that statement. The family of a president, a man who commanded those soldiers for 37 years, could not trust the army. Why? Because they knew the soldiers now answer to the new government. And the family had specific fears about what would happen if they left the body in state custody overnight. What were they afraid of? They never stated it explicitly in interviews. But in African political circles, everyone knows. Everyone understands. The fear was that operatives would be sent, maybe disguised as medical personnel, to remove certain body parts, the hand, the eyes, parts that hold significance in traditional power rituals. Now let's talk about what's happening in Zambia, and I'm going to be very direct with you about the intelligence I've received. There is a practice in traditional systems called Kufimba. It means to cover, to blind, to obscure vision. The intelligence I have, and this is coming from people who have been in closed-door strategy meetings, is that UPND strategists are deeply worried about 2026. They know you are seeing the hunger. They know you're seeing the bad roads. They know you are seeing the darkness of load shedding every single day. So, according to my sources, there are consultants who have advised them about traditional methods. And here's what these consultants believe, whether you believe it or not. They believe that the eyes of a former ruler hold power, that these eyes have witnessed the secrets of state, that they have seen the inner workings of power. And if you take those eyes and use them in what they call a fire ritual, you can create what they describe as a spiritual smoke. The purpose of this smoke, according to these traditional practitioners, is to blind the population, not physically, spiritually, so that when you go to vote in 2026, you will not see clearly. You will look at the ballot paper, and somehow the vote will be invisible to you. The problems in your house will be invisible. You will only see what they want you to see. This is what they believe. This is the ritual practice called Kufimba. Now, am I saying this magic is real? I'm a Christian. But I am saying that powerful people believe it's real. And when powerful people believe something works, they will pursue it. They will plan for it. They will allocate resources toward it. This is why I am shouting. This is why I am sweating as I talk to you. Because whether you call it witchcraft, whether you call it occult practice, whether you call it traditional methods, what we're talking about here is evil. This is not politics. This is not policy debate. This is not competing visions for the country. This is something darker. I saw many things when I was working closely with Michael Sata. Sata was a man who understood these dimensions of power. He knew there are people who use what most would call dark powers or dark practices. That's why Sata was so tough. That's why they called him the Cobra. He knew how to identify the snakes. He knew how to counter their methods. But Sata is gone. And the spiritual protection, if you believe in such things, that he established is now under attack. The steel coffin represents resistance against this. It's a line being drawn. It says, you can harass the man in life. You can take his properties. You can arrest his family. But you will not desecrate his body for your rituals. You will not use him as an ingredient in your dark practices. This is why the family is taking these extreme measures, not paranoia, not superstition. Strategic defense against a very specific threat that has historical precedent across Africa. Now, I know some of you watching are saying, Muzungu, this sounds crazy, and I understand. If you grew up in the West, if you only know politics from textbooks, this sounds like conspiracy theory. But ask your grandmother. Ask anyone who understands how power really works in Africa. They will tell you these practices exist. These consultations happen. These rituals are performed. The question is not whether they work. The question is, what happens when leaders act as if they work? What lengths will they go to? What boundaries will they cross? This is the information I'm bringing you. This is the intelligence I'm risking everything to share. Because Zambia needs to wake up. You need to understand that 2026 is not just about campaigns and manifestos. There's a shadow war happening. A war for your perception, a war for your spiritual sight. And the first battle in that war is over a coffin. Edgar Lungu is the only one left who carries that anointing, and that is why they are after him. They are not just after his politics. They are after his person. They are after his biology. The steel coffin is a message. The PF is sending a message to Plot 1. They are saying, we know what you are planning. We know you want the body parts, but we will not give them to you. It is a shame. It is a big shame that in a Christian nation, a former president has to be buried in steel because the current government acts like witches. And let me warn you about the mausoleum. You heard the interviewer ask Leo Mugabe about the mausoleum. The government of Zimbabwe wanted to build a big, beautiful house for Mugabe's grave, a national monument. And the family said no. Why? Because if the government builds the grave, the government owns the grave. If Lungu dies and the UPND says, oh, let us build him a nice tomb at Embassy Park. Let us put marble. Let us put gold. It is a trap. If they build it, they have the keys. If they build it, they have the security guards. They want him in a mausoleum so that they can visit him at night. They will tell you it is guarding the president, but really it is harvesting the president. The Mugabe family was smart. They buried him in the village, in the courtyard, under concrete, under steel, and the family guards him. Not the police, the family. But Lungu must do the same. The PF must be ready. The youths, the commanders, you must be ready. When the time comes, you cannot let the state police come near that coffin. You cannot let the state doctors do the post-mortem alone. This is where it gets dark. Stay with me. The coffin must be watched, day and night, because there are things that happen in the darkness of African politics that the textbooks don't teach you. Things that would make your blood run cold. Why am I saying this? Look at the Mugabe case. His own family went to court. They told judges on record, we cannot trust the state security apparatus with our father's remains. What were they afraid of? They never said it explicitly in court. But if you know African politics, if you know the history, you know what they feared. I have received intelligence that is deeply disturbing. Multiple sources, and I'm talking about people inside the system, people who have been in those closed-door meetings. They tell me consultants have been flying into Lusaka, West African specialists. Now, are they here for political strategy? That's what the official story would be. But my sources say these are not your typical Cambridge-educated political consultants. Let me ask you a question. When a government is losing popularity, when load shedding is destroying businesses, when people are hungry, when the roads are crumbling, what does a desperate leadership do? In Western politics, they might hire a PR firm. They might change policies. But in Africa, there is another layer, a layer that operates in the shadows, a layer that your university degree cannot explain, but your grandmother can. There is a word in Zambian culture, ilomba. you know what it means. The snake that brings fortune but feeds on life. Now, I am not saying I believe in these things. I am a Christian man. But I am saying that powerful people believe. And when powerful people believe, they act on those beliefs. My sources tell me, and I'm going to say this very carefully, there is anxiety at the highest levels about 2026. They know the people are angry. They know the opposition is growing. And when modern politics fails, some leaders look to, let's call them traditional solutions. Now, why would a former president need a steel coffin? Why welded shut? Why this level of security after death? Let me paint you a picture. It's late at night. A convoy of vehicles without number plates. A team that is not officially there. And in the morning, everything looks normal, but something is missing. Am I accusing anyone? No. Am I stating this as fact? No. I am telling you what the fear is. I am telling you why families of powerful men in Africa take these extreme measures. Because the fear is real, even if we cannot prove the threat. You saw the Mugabe situation. You see the steel coffin preparations. Connect the dots. There is something in traditional practice called Kufimba. It means to blind, to cover. I am not going to describe the ritual. But understand this, there are people who believe that if you control certain elements of a former ruler, you can control the perception of the population. You can make people blind to their own suffering. You can make them vote against their own interests. Do I believe this works? That's not the point. The point is, do they believe it? And if they believe it, what lengths will they go to? Look at how they're treating the former president right now. Blocked from church, blocked from jogging, his wife arrested, his children harassed, property seized, every single day, another humiliation, another stress, another blow. Political competition? Or something more calculated? I worked with Michael Sata. I saw how the game is played. Sata understood that in African politics, you're not just fighting flesh and blood, you're fighting systems. Systems that include things your political science textbook won't mention. But Sata is gone. And now we're seeing a playbook that should terrify every Zambian. The steel is being cut right now. The welders are on standby. Preparations are being made for an eventuality that they seem very anxious about. Why the rush? Why the elaborate planning? What's the timeline they're working with? These are not rhetorical questions. These are investigative questions. I am the Muzungu wa PF. I am bringing you information that others are too afraid to discuss. Because if we don't talk about it, if we don't shine light on these dark corners, then 2026 will not be decided by your vote. It will be decided in rooms you cannot see, by methods you cannot challenge. The steel coffin is not just about protecting a body. It's about protecting sovereignty. It's about saying, not this time, not this man. This is where it stops. But the people must be awake. You must see what's happening. Not just the politics on TV, but the politics in the shadows. Because I'm telling you, and you can call me crazy, you can say I'm conspiracy theorist, but the pressure the timing, the preparations, the consultants. This is not normal political competition. Wake up, Zambia, wake up!